Battlefield 6 really does feel new.
I can't remember the last time I had that much fun with just like a bunch of mates in the Discord channel.
Multiplayer, big, like, open Battlefield maps don't lend themselves well to, like, linear campaigns.
After several promising betas earlier this summer, Battlefield 6 is finally here. But does it live up to the series' legacy? How does it fare against the inevitable comparisons to the upcoming Call of Duty Black Ops 7? And is the single-player campaign more than just a cosmetic accessory on an otherwise multiplayer-focused game? To find out, we recruited 4 of PC Gamer's writers to share their first impressions, and explain why we can't give this game a scored review for now.
We've had access for about a week now. We're still kind of in this pre-release period where there's sort of doling out features one at a time over days. It's very strange, but we haven't really been able to play real multiplayer. We've sort of shown up for multiplayer sessions where very few real people have participated, so we've been playing with bots, so we're really familiar with what the game is like when there's nothing but bots in the server. To be clear, we're not going to have a scored review at launch. This is not really reviewable at this point. So yeah, these are just our earlier impressions.
It is kind of night and day between, like, matches filled with, like, mostly bots and then, like, the occasional, actual human player who is just, like, actually murdering all those bots.
The one thing they do try to do well is they prioritize resurrecting over anything. They will go through, like, hellfire to try and get you off the ground, to the point that they ignore literally everything else happening around them.
They were my ride or dies. They would like come res me, but like to the point of these like multiplayer games not really working.
It's actually kind of nice to have some bots on the team, because at least they are programmed to just immediately come to your rescue if you need a revive, which is not always the case with humans.
I feel like I'd actually quite like that as a multiplayer mode, like having one person v one person, but you've both got like 26 bots or whatever. That sounds pretty cool.
We haven't touched Portal. We're going to touch Portal, I guess, tomorrow. We're going to be able to use it a little bit, but I have a feeling it's really going to be launch for when all this multiplayer stuff really plays how it should.
It's definitely nicer being on the bigger maps though, like versus like playing in the beta. Kind of big Battlefield conquest is, that's like the quintessential Battlefield experience for me. It definitely feels right.
The fear we had before launch, like, well, there's not that many big maps. I think that's true. There's 3 or 4 maps that I'd really call like proper big Battlefield maps, but they're quite good. Again, we don't know what they feel like with real players yet, but we do know what it's like to drive around, the flow between them, and what we didn't get from the beta, which was really noticeable, was like there just wasn't any space for vehicles. There's like 4 or 5 kind of big maps in this launch pool of 9 or whatever, but a lot of them are like, they're really stingy with what vehicles you can take. Like as far as maps that have every single vehicle, like jets, tanks, helicopters, everything, there's only like 2 or 3. So there are some maps that are larger, like Manhattan or Sobek City, but those are like helicopters, no jets. There's some maps that are just like, this is kind of large, but there's like just no air vehicles at all.
So that might be a bit of a shame for like people who like really like jets, for example, or who like basically just jump in a jet like every time.
You can never underestimate how creative people will get with their driving. I've seen Jeeps get through those little alleyways in the Iberian offensive. Like, I don't even know how they fit. I don't know how they got them down the stairs. I've been hit by a Jeep in these tiny little alleyways.
Yeah, it's kind of cool that in Iberian Offensive, which is one of the beta maps, remember it has like a lot of streets and alleyways, no air vehicles at all. So like, yeah, sure, you actually can jump in the Jeep and know that like, okay, at least a helicopter's not just going to missile me. I just think at launch, the big small map ratio is just still off. Absolutely, in those larger moments, it feels like a Battlefield game. In these smaller maps, it still feels like Battlefield, but more specifically like Battlefields 3 and 4, where the series first started to kind of do a Call of Duty thing. Like, let's do some smaller maps, let's add a billion attachments, let's try to eat that game's lunch. And this is, I guess, the best version of that yet. The shooting has really stepped up. The gunplay feels much more responsive and hit scanny, even though it's technically still like a simulated bullet drop thing going on. Like, this does feel much closer to Call of Duty on purpose. Right down to the weapon customization. They have their own version of Gunsmith, where you can take any weapon and blow it out into 12 different attachment slots and build your loadouts. I don't think Battlefield really changes that dynamic from Call of Duty.
Has anyone here been playing the Black Ops 7 beta over the weekend? Yeah, I just could not get into it. The tiny maps for Black Ops 7 was like chaotic, but like not in a fun way. It's chaotic that like someone will always come up behind you and shoot you in the back of the head.
Did the shooting feel better in Battlefield?
I think that's down to preference, and I will also say like I modded about every gun that I played to like my liking, and it's actually quite difficult to like tell it apart. It's more of the vibe though, which is the difference.
Battlefield 6, in terms of like feel, definitely feels closer to Call of Duty, just in terms of like, it's like snappier than Battlefield used to be, but I've been pleased to feel that like it still has that kind of Battlefield heft and weight to it. And sometimes in Call of Duty it feels like no matter what gun you're holding, you're just like swinging around a piece of plastic. It's just like, it doesn't really feel like an object, but in Battlefield 6 the things you're interacting with and shooting with still feel like they have a weight.
If you played Black Ops 6, you have played Black Ops 7. It really is that close. So you know if you want to whatever, get Game Pass and play that one. I do think this is the most competitive Battlefield has ever looked next to Call of Duty. But Battlefield 6 really does feel new. Like, it's not like super innovative. It's another military shooter with big maps or whatever. My fiance was looking over my shoulder as I was playing both games yesterday, and she didn't even notice when I switched to Battlefield. It's refreshing. They've been very open and braggadocious about not going the Call of Duty route of branded skins, crossovers, Beavis and Butthead, yada yada. And it seems like the pendulum has swung so far towards people wanting that stuff to go away, or at least enough people wanting that to go away, that Call of Duty has like canceled its plans to do goofy skins again this year. So how that's borne out in Battlefield 6 from what we've seen, they look like what to me was a multiplayer skin like 15 years ago, where it's just like, here's my generic engineer guy in a slightly different outfit, different goggles or whatever.
The ones you can get from doing the campaign collectibles are definitely like, I think there's one called Gridlock, which is literally just like black. As in like, that's the only difference. It's just your character is just like,
This is launch stuff, right? Like, once, EA makes its money from $70 copies of Battlefield 6, they will then look to make most of its money from store tabs. I fully expect skins to get more ostentatious, more like expensive looking, and more ridiculous. Honestly, I don't really care. I just want the game to look like a military shooter, not like Fortnite.
Personally, I've just got like a countdown clock going to the first time I see like a neon green soldier sprinting around. I don't think they're going to stick to it personally, but for now, things look a little more subdued.
Why? Wait a few hours and the base would have been theirs anyway.
Why? We'll have to wait. Come on!
I think the campaign is capital F fine. If anything, the worst thing about it is that it is so thoroughly just like acceptable. It's not extraordinary. It just feels very strange with how clearly they've been marketing this Battlefield as being such a huge Call of Duty competitor. If you're looking for a COD killer for a campaign, it's not this.
I don't like to use the word mid, but it's extremely mid. The funny thing is, I've been searching for like collectibles and stuff. And one of the things that exploring the environment sort of makes you realize is that multiplayer, big like open Battlefield maps don't lend themselves well to like linear campaigns. And there's a part of me that wonders why they didn't make like an open campaign. Because there is at least one mission that's like open world and is actually probably the best mission like in the entire campaign. But instead you've got like, all these super linear missions where you're just moving through big open multiplayer maps as if, like they're sort of designed to be linear, but they're not. It's a bit, I don't know, it doesn't quite work, I don't think.
I haven't played like a really good, like realistic FPS campaign in such a long time. Like 13-year-old me used to get so hyped for COD campaigns, and I feel like I've been chasing that high ever since. And I don't know if it's because I've grown up and I have responsibilities now. I don't know if I'm too nihilistic now, or like too tired, or like I've seen everything, but like nothing I've played recently has been able to hit the mark.
The big disappointment of this campaign is that it's so Call of Duty. It has zero ambitions to do anything but basically a Modern Warfare thing. You are a group of spec ops operators with a leader who might as well be Captain Price but with an American accent. You are doing off the books operations against Pax Armada. It's a globe trotting, extremely linear Disney park ride. If this were Call of Duty, it would just be like, yeah, whatever, it's a Call of Duty campaign. But Battlefield doesn't have to be that. Like, it hasn't been that in the past when they've done campaigns. Battlefield is large-scale environments. It's the freedom to get in and out of vehicles. It's like choices. It's flanks. And this campaign actively punishes you for doing anything like that. You jump over a railing in the wrong spot and you get a countdown to like fail the mission.
The out of bounds is really aggressive for sure. Like, I found that a lot, and for no reason either. Like, this is the thing I was saying about like open world versus linearity. There's no reason it had to be as linear as it is when Battlefield is like an open game conceptually, right? I guess
it kind of feels like it was the last thing to get done in this game, which like previous reporting from Ars Technica suggests exactly that.
Yeah, you can feel it.
Please do go read that Ars Technica report that details how there was a different studio who were tasked with making the Battlefield 6 campaign, and it didn't go well, and the studio was shuttered before they even finished anything. Basically, the other Battlefield studios have had to pick up the pieces of that and put together a campaign, and that's what this is. Please do not spend your money on Battlefield 6 thinking that you're going to get an awesome campaign, and that, like, I hope that's not important to you, because this is, like, not that at all.
I noticed after I finished the campaign, I like tabbed down in the menu, and on the campaign menu is just a big thing saying like, "Do you want to uninstall campaign?" So I don't know. You kind of get the sense that, So you kind of get the sense that maybe most people are only going to play this thing once, if that.
Good feature, honestly. Uninstall chunks of the game you're not using. That's a Call of Duty staple that Battlefield has also adopted. It's good.
Reloading!
So far, it feels like Battlefield, but it's hard to really know when half the things you're shooting at will just run into the middle of the open and just stare at the sky while you shoot at them. But yeah, it's promising so far. But again, hard to say until the gates are open.
I think the only thing they could do that would make the multiplayer better for me is like give me a horse, like it's Battlefield 1. That's all I want, just a horse.
What I'm most excited to do, like day one, is I want to go into those custom server browsers. I want to like start a server that's just like all my favorite maps or whatever, the rules I like and whatever, and like see if other people will join. I want to see what this game feels like with its server browser, because it's meant to evoke sort of a more classic FPS where you can seek out a server that has all your favorite stuff in it, basically, and just do that. You know, I want to see if I can favorite a server and come back to it and like not even interact with normal matchmaking. What is that like with a 2025 game? How well are they supporting that? That's like my number one surprise when they announced features like that, and that's what I want to test day one.
I'm just really excited to like play a multiplayer FPS game with my mates that we're all excited to play. Like, I play too much Overwatch. I need something else, and like something that we'll all enjoy and we can all like play together and agree on. And the beta was just so much fun. I can't remember the last time I had that much fun with just like a bunch of mates in the Discord channel. I'm looking forward to those vibes.
We'll have a full review of Battlefield 6 after its opening weekend, so make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified the moment that goes live. Thanks for watching.